What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, we actually have a new episode of This Week in Warframe, where we go over the weekly reset and what you can expect as a Warframe player this week. You might have noticed there was no video yesterday. That's because, major fail. I thought yesterday was the weekly reset, so I was like all sitting there waiting, ready to record it. And then, yeah, basically I can show you the outtakes on my live stream if you come stop by the live stream channel, but let's just say I didn't realize that there was a mistake on my part for a good 5 minutes. But we'll be going over all that stuff today. TennoCon was a couple days, or like a couple weeks ago at this point, so don't expect anything big, but we'll be getting certain things changed this week. So hope you enjoy these types of videos. For Tesha, the first weekly reset item, we have a kit gun ribbon mod for 75 steel essence. There's really not that many kit guns in this game. I'm hoping the new Grimoire weapon type will be a kit gun, but we don't know for sure. So maybe you could speculate as that, but that won't be until October in the Whispers in the Wall update, where we're getting the new Grimoire weapon type. But yeah, my current theory is it will be a kit gun INCARNON in the pistol slot. Okay, so first off, let's go over the Archon Hunt, and then we'll go over the INCARNON rotation, Nightwave, and things of that nature. Alright, so for the Archon Hunt this week, wow, we have a blue Archon Shard, the Azure Archon Shard. These will give you things such as armor, maximum health, health regen, and things like that. The drop rate does go up if you don't get it, and I'm at 80% drop rate for this Tau Shard version. I've got Gara strength and Accolado damage. The mission types are Sabotage on Earth, Excavation also on Earth, and then the final boss fight against the Owl Archon. I call him one of the easier Archons personally. Good luck getting those blue Tau Shards. Now, something that is happening this week is actually going to be the Regal Aya rotation. This will happen on Thursday, I believe. And we've actually got a weird situation going on with primes right now. So Rhino and Nyx are going to be going away from this resurgence on Thursday, and they'll be being replaced by Equinox Prime and Wukong Prime. But the whole weird thing I was talking to you about, since we have these new heirloom bundles, they're having Mag and Frost in here till the end of the year. So these are here for like another 3-4 months. So you can hold on. You don't have to worry about like these going away, but these ones, Rhino and Nyx, will go away with their weapons as well, and replaced by Equinox and Wukong. All right, so let's go over the INCARNONs now. Now, if you've been logging in every single week, you're pretty much out of INCARNONs. So I'll show it anyway. But first off, with the normal path, we have Ivara, Inaros, and Titania. I usually recommend that people go for Titania Prime, as when you're in the Void as Titania Prime, you get more energy when you fly near a Void Death Orb. But if you don't have Titania Prime, she's technically vaulted. Here you go, a guaranteed Titania normal, where you could usually be getting her from a quest. Also got Inaros, he comes from a quest, and then Ivara comes from spy missions. You could probably go for Ivara here if you don't want to grind out spy missions, as this is going to be a lot more guaranteed method. And also, none of these frames really have the most useful helmets, unfortunately. I'd say maybe just get Titania Prime, don't bother with Titania Normal, and maybe go for Ivara, as that's a lot of spy missions should be bypassing. And looks like I got Infiltrate as my rank up reward, a very good augment for Ivara. Alright, moving on to the Steel Path. I believe we're on week 7. No, yeah, we are, okay. Okay, so there's one big thing here I want to tell you guys about. So, the next Prime Warframe is going to be Grendel Prime. His weapons will be the Masseter Prime and the Xylock Prime. So there is currently no Xylock Prime in the game. It's only the Xylock Normal. But once the Xylock Prime comes out, the INCARNON Genesis will be, you can apply it to the Xylock Prime. Don't be too worried about it too. If you have it on the normal Xylock, you can remove INCARNONs now, but you'll have to reinstall on the Xylock Prime 420 Pathos Clamps and resources too. Unfortunately for the Xylock, the INCARNON Fire Mode still does not work with multi-shot. I guess that's intended at this point. But yeah, I'll be going over all these INCARNONs and giving my overall recommendations. So starting off with the Xylock. I'd say make sure you get it, as the Xylock Prime will be here in October. And this thing actually has pretty good crit stats once you get fully upgraded. Like red crit slash procs, basically. But the INCARNON shot on this thing is pretty terrible. It's a charge shot with a fire AoE, or heat damage AoE. But it does not work properly with multi-shot. It just doesn't really, it does less damage, it feels like, than the primary shot. So unfortunate, but it is in the pistol, secondary slot if you want to be getting this. Feel free. I'm sure the Xylock Prime will have better stats, but probably lower overall buffs from the INCARNON, unfortunately. Cyber Incarnon, I use this pretty much exclusively on Frost Prime. With his new augment and all his armor strip and all that good stuff. This thing is really powerful. It's visually a gigantic piece of ice on a stick, and it has a very good crit once you get to the full Incarnon. Now, as far as the special attack, I don't even know if this thing has a special attack. It says slowing enemies and increasing critical damage in Incarnon form. Really? Okay. I didn't notice that, but yeah. Apparently it also creates a cold radius on heavy slams. So you'll have some forced cold procs in here. It goes pretty nicely with some of these other things, like this one increases your combo and enemy already affected by cold. If you're on Frost, they're going to be cold proc too, so it's just really good on Frost, lots of crit. I'd say go for it. Probably more important than the Xylock Incarnon, I guess. It's also a meme weapon that takes a lot of cryotic to build. Dread Incarnon is going to be very, very similar to the Paris Incarnon. Basically just a powerful bow that has some AoE potential. The Incarnons are going to be giving you some good status chance for slash procs, and the other Incarnons are going to just be giving you, very niche things. If you have the Paris Incarnon, this is literally the exact same thing with like slightly different stats in a couple areas. I'd say the Paris Incarnon's better to me, but if you have the Dread and you want to try this out, it's really pretty good, so maybe try it out if you want to. The Despair and the Hate, these weapons are viewed as a lot more rare than the Dread, because it's literally just a lower drop rate from the Stalker. The Despair is a silent, explosive throwing star weapon. So if you like invisibility frames like Octavia, Ivara, etc., this is a completely silent exploding weapon with built-in heat damage and delayed explosions. I do like it quite a bit. It's very powerful against Acolytes too. It can shred Acolytes. But the problem is, as this weapon is very rare, I think it's like a 5% drop rate from the Stalker, you might not have this weapon. So of course, if you don't have this weapon or this other weapon that has 5% drop rate, go for things that you have the weapon for already. You might not even have the Scythe because of all that cryotic, and the Xylock only comes from Borrow nowadays, too. But yeah, the Despair Incarnon's good. I like it. It's very nice as a silent weapon, but, not everybody's going to have it. The Hate Incarnon, now, this, again, is a rare weapon, so if you have this thing, definitely go for it. It's very strong. It releases a projectile when you do light attacks with this thing that can be very powerful with Condition Overload. But the Anku Incarnon was massively, massively reworked and buffed a couple weeks ago. And I've been using that thing a lot. Man, the Anku Incarnon is really good. It gets 4 slash procs for heavy slide. This thing, it probably has better damage when you take Condition Overload into account because of the heat procs. But yeah, it's not force slashed on every light attack like the Anku, so I'm going to have to do a comparison video at some point because I actually have very, very similar Rivens for both of those weapons. I'd say you could still go for it, though, if you have it. It's pretty powerful, so overall suggestions for this week, it's the same I usually say for this type of week. If you don't have any of these weapons, obviously don't go for it. But if you already have, like, let's say you only had the Xylock and the Dread, like, the weapons you already owned, but you already have the Incarnons, like, yeah, go for the good ones after that, even if you don't have the weapon. Like, okay, I'm going to get the Hate Incarnon because maybe the Stalker will finally drop it. Or maybe I'm going to finally get the Despair Incarnon because the Stalker will finally drop it. You can even go for the Cyber. It's like, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and just ground the Cyber. You can hold on, you can have the Incarnons in your inventory without even owning the weapon. So if you want to do that, that's also an option. I said the overall strongest options this week are going to be the Hate Incarnon and probably the Cyber Incarnon or like the Despair Incarnon. Unfortunately, the really rare ones are good. Also, if you have the Cyber and you want to use it on Frost, go for it as well. They're all kind of like, upper middle of the road Incarnons, with the Hate Incarnon being probably the strongest. All right, that's your Daviri stuff. Let's go look at the Archon Sorting, or rather the call mission. We already looked at the Archon Sorting. And yeah, we are waiting on the next update in October, guys. We got Blue Shard at Chipper, Azure Shard. That will never be Tal, by the way. And if you are the most dedicated call mission grinder of all time, like yours truly, you're on Sneaky Sabotage, and you've got Deathless, completing the mission without dying, Veil Break, Break Number, break 5 Veils of the Veil Breaker. Remember, there will not be any Marines in this mission. They will actually be like Fortuna citizens.
Blue Girl, find Narmer Worm.
Find and open 3 hidden caches. Pretty terrible one for this one. Complete the mission under 15 minutes. This is actually not that bad on this specific mission. It's a pretty quick mission. But if you're hunting down all these little collectibles on the map, it might end up taking longer than that. Complete the mission without being spotted by a deacon. I believe you can, as long as you're not fully spotted by the deacon, you will not fail this challenge. If they like briefly look at you when you stun them with the Veil Breaker, it should be fine. And destroy 3 Pazul Axoms. I could never find these. I never actually bother with them. So there's your call mission.
Good working with
now, as far as Nightwave, they did not talk about new Nightwave at all at TennoCon, and I don't know when it's coming, so But just to let you know, they usually give us at least a 2 weeks notice before Nightwave ends. Going over the Nightwave challenges for this week, we have Cache Hunter, find all caches in 3 sabotage missions. Enhance, pick up 8 rare mods. Now Boarding, complete 3 different K-Drive races in the Orb of Valis. Saboteur, complete 3 sabotage missions. Zeramon Bounty Hunter, complete 4 different bounties in the Zeramon. And your first Elite Weekly, Elite Test Subject, complete 8 zones of Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. And the other Elite Weekly, Resource Scavenger, collect 20 different types of resources. That's a pretty easy one, actually. I'm surprised it's an Elite Weekly. For your Cred Offering Store, why is it... Okay, I guess it was in a different sorting method. Okay, so the default sorting method here, get our evergreen stuff at the top. We've got Nihil's Opulette, and enter the Nihil's Opulette. We've also got some helmets here. Trying to see any helmets that I think are really awesome. Pretty standard helmets in here today. We got Infested Impotence, Rejuvenation, EMP Aura, Pistol Scavenger, Shotgun Scavenger, and Corrosive Projection for your Aura mods. If you are a brand new player, Rejuvenation is very good, as it will give you built-in health regen, and the enemies in this game when you're low level deal like basically 0 damage, so this will let you basically be a tank lord, because you can heal constantly. Also works for your teammates if you're starting this game with some other players. If everybody in your team is running this, it will stack up to 12 health regen per second. If you are not a brand spanking new player, you're maybe more of a mid-game player, get Corrosive Projection, as this will remove enemy armor, and it will make them easier to kill. The other ones really not used as much. Shotgun Scavenger, Pistol Scavenger, EMP Aura, and Infested Impotence, really not popular. And Rejuvenation is really not that popular either, besides like a brand new player. As far as our mastery weapons here, we got Plasma Sword, Heat Sword, Dark Sword, and Heat Dagger. There is no Ceramic Dagger this week. We also have a Wolf Beacon if for some reason you didn't grind out like multiple 100 Wolf missions like us crazy people. We've got Singularity for Nyx, Volt Recharge Barrier, Directed Conversions for the Supra, Shrapnel Rounds for the Merlock, the Power of 3 for Ivara, and Purifying Flames for Ember. Singularity might sound pretty good for Nyx, but just remember, you cannot equip Assimilate and Singularity at the same time. You can only have one augment for a singular ability active at the same time if the augment has multiple different, or rather, if the ability has multiple different augments. You cannot have 2 Assimilate augments at the same time. Or I guess it's called Absorb. So that's basically it for your weekly reset. I think DE's on vacation right now, but they'll probably be back to the studio on like Monday or Tuesday. Dog Days is up all month long, even though they nerfed they unintended feature fixed the vigorous swap on the water grenades. So here we are. If you want to go grind out that, there's actually quite a few cosmetics they did add to Dog Days this year, so go try it out if you want to. All right, so for the Invigorations, let's see what we got. Also a reminder, I will be doing this weekly reset live on stream after this video goes up. All right, so we got Anaros, increased secondary crit chance for pistols, and also immunity to status effects. I think he's basically immune to status effects already with my build, but that's pretty decent. We've got Mag with 1,000 extra armor and 100% ability range. That's pretty crazy good. And then we've got 100% ability duration and 5 extra jump resets for Lavos. So I wouldn't really call these the craziest Invigorations this week. Maybe this Mag one could be good if I put it in another frame, because Mag doesn't really need armor. So yeah, I might try that one out. Either way, guys, I hope you found this video fun and helpful. I will be live on stream very soon, and we'll have daily videos on this channel for the next week. I have a Wisp video on the way and a bunch of other stuff too. So hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Appreciate the support. Bye.